So, to the scholars, students, people for watching us in the live stream, welcome. This is a presentation by Ajinomoto Biopharma Services. Their mission is to help improve the health of humankind. Their ultimate goal is to provide adaptive solutions, responsive service, trusted partnerships, and peace of mind to their customers. Through innovation, accountability, compliance, communication, and teamwork, they take pride in knowing their efforts are helping countless patients for years to come. Without further ado, Mrs. Trotter, would you like to kick this off?
Hi, thank you so much for that intro. And thank you, E3 High School, for having us today. We are very excited to share with you a little bit more about who we are, what we do here in San Diego, and some career opportunities that you can join after graduating high school. My name is Denise, and I am the Talent Acquisition Specialist here with Aji, and I have a couple of my colleagues who you will get to know later on throughout the presentation, Nicole and Alicia. And then we also have our VP of Drug Product Manufacturing and Facilities and Engineering, Bert, who will share with you some more information on the history of Aji and also a little bit more about what we do. Bert, take it away.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. As you see from the agenda, we've gone through and we've identified a number of areas within our organization where we have opportunities for individuals coming into the work environment without having to go through and wait until they complete college. A lot of the positions that you'll see are, really for individuals that want an opportunity to grow. And in some cases, people stay in these organizations like ours for their whole career. In other instances, I've found that individuals will start, and then if they decide to continue on with their education, they're able to gain experience and grow while they're finishing out whatever course of study that they wanted. Okay, next. So as you mentioned, our mission and vision here, and believe it or not, in every one of my senior leadership and group meetings, we go through and we reiterate, we're here to help to improve health of humankind, and we're to be leading, trusted, and innovative partner to our customers and our employees. And believe it or not, when my staff presents, they actually identify areas where each of them and others have met this goal or worked towards this goal. So it's very important for us. Next. Now, the Aji, as we call it, site in San Diego, Ajinomoto Biopharma Services gets to be a little long. If you looked at our email address, you'd think, wow, how can you do that without making a mistake? Well, I make a lot of mistakes on it. So we go through, and at our site, we manufacture both clinical, so early stage products, and also commercial products, products that have gone through the FDA and been approved for distribution and sale. And we manufacture small molecules, which are usually proteins. We can do some peptides. And you see large molecules, those are usually monoclonal antibodies, similar to what you hear in the news now about COVID, where they're using antibodies to do some therapies. We are involved in oligonucleotide and peptide synthesis. So the oligonucleotide basically is a subpart that's used to produce DNA or RNA component. And then we also do drug product fill finishing. So putting product into little vials sterilely and aseptically. Okay, next. For our organization, we have about 500 people here, just over 500. And we touch on all these different disease states. And in some cases, we're the only ones that are manufacturing some of these products. We have a product that we currently fill is for pancreatic cancer. Individuals who are diagnosed pancreatic cancer usually end up finding out they have about maybe one, if they're lucky, 6 months to live. This product that we manufacture, fill for our client, can give those individuals some time to finish out, take care of their lives, go on a trip, see family, children. We have a employee here that I understand their grandmother was on this drug, and it helped her stay alive until he graduated from school, right? We have other drugs that are related to genetic conditions that help people who would otherwise die at about 60 to be able to have a full life. So we're very proud about what we do and how we do it. Unfortunately, we have about 100 different programs and projects per year. And I find that I always have to remind my staff and our employees that it's not just vials we're sending out. We're sending out, some hope to people who have a lot of these conditions. Okay, next. So this just goes through and it shows that we are involved not just in research, which is the preclinical stage, as you see on that slide. We're involved in the development, drug substance manufacturing, drug product manufacturing for products from when they're doing animal studies all the way to commercial state. So when you hear on the news about, COVID and the vaccine, that vaccine that got the emergency use authorization, when you see phase 1, phase 2, they basically did a phase 1 safety study to find out if that vaccine was going to be safe. And then they did a little bit of efficacy, and then they took off and basically got it released. Now, of course, the vaccine that everybody's getting is not a commercial product. Right now, it's under emergency use authorization through the government. So I'd say it's closer to a phase 2, phase 3 product that they're shipping out. Okay, next. Just so you know, we're not just a little, mom and pop shop out of San Diego. We do have thousands of employees across the world. And this is just showing where we have our pharmaceutical or biopharmaceutical facilities. Ajinomoto also has, I believe, about 30,000 employees worldwide because we also manufacture things like aspartame, right? We manufacture MSG. We manufacture amino acids. We manufacture pot stickers and dumplings and egg rolls that you can buy at Costco, right? So, although we didn't put that here for you. Okay, next. So our site consists of 3 locations. We have a site at Roselle, which is our original location. About 3 miles up the road, we have our Lusk facility, which does mainly filling and finishing of products. We put the products in little vials. We have our warehouse and where we store all of our incoming materials and also our completed release materials for shipment. And all these areas and all these subgroups, we found that individuals who have finished high school and either they want to start their work career at that point, or they want to have a place to start, as they go on to figure out what they want to do in college later, if they go to college or junior college like I did. It gives people an opportunity. I will say that Ajinomoto has a program where we help some with further education for employees. So it's one of our benefits, and I have a lot of employees that take advantage of that. Okay, next. So in the quality regulatory area, just so you get an idea, we manufacture products for worldwide. So the locations we have are audited by all these different regulatory bodies in all these different countries. And we have certifications from not only the US for commercial products, but as you see, worldwide. And prior to the COVID and all the travel restrictions, we were being inspected by one inspector or another probably every month or every other month or so. So, and believe it or not, a lot of our staff, irrespective of what grade level they are or where they're at, can be stopped and asked what they're doing by one of these inspectors. So it's really important that staff are trained up and understand what they're doing. Okay, next. And just in general, as you can imagine, when you're making drugs for clients. Some of these drugs, well, we have to be reliable, trusted, and meet all the requirements of our clients and ourselves and also the FDA. And we have to stay customer focused. You know, as I mentioned, we manufacture some drugs that are life-saving, life-changing. Some of those drugs are very, very expensive. I can tell you that one drug that we manufacture, just the material that goes into the drug is well over $1 million for 5,000 vials. We have other products that the cost to the insurance company for the treatment of a patient for 1 year is about $400,000. And that's a lot of money, but when you're the person that's going through and may potentially die if you don't get this drug, it's life-saving. Okay? So now the drug product area. So at the Roselle site, we have 5 independent fill sites, and we have formulation suites. So basically, these are areas where, as you see in the picture, the person standing there in a funny little suit, that individual had to go through about 4 to 5 months worth of training before they could go into that room, suited up, and perform operations on that syringe line. That's actually, that line fills syringes for clients. It's called an ISO 5 area. That person, when they finish their shift of 4 hours in there, believe it or not, they're plated with media plates, and they have to demonstrate when they go to leave that room that they don't have any bacterial contamination on them. If they do, that batch that was filled has to be quarantined until we can investigate what could have happened. So, you know, it is a role that can be fulfilled by individuals at any level. Okay. This is a vial line here. As you see, it's similar. It has the arm ports. In this case, they work through those sleeves, do any manipulations. That room inside the cabinet that you see there is actually cleaner than any sterile suite that you could find in any hospital in the country, right? That's how serious we take this work. Okay, next. This is just a picture of one of the syringe lines again, where we fill all kinds of products. Right now we fill a lot of oncology products, and we also fill products for eye care, you know, for macular degeneration. It's filled on this line. Okay, next. So we have a small group that also does terminal sterilization on products for clients. It's a small group, but it's very critical because the FDA requires that our clients have their products sterilized prior to release, just in case they could potentially have a contaminant, right? When you see that room, you see all the gowning, we have to be 99.9999% assured that there is no bacteria in any vials, right? And if a product can be sterilized, it's sterilized using this autoclave. Okay, next. So this is concerning our new line. We have another line that we're building at the Lusk facility. It's for syringes, vials, and cartridges. Cartridges are units that are used in, you know, those emergency pens that they have for individuals that may have allergies. Those are filled in cartridges. Why don't you go next? What I was going to mention on that one is the line that we have for the syringes and the vials, believe it or not, that line fills syringes at about 20,000 units per hour. So it's critical that it be operated in a consistent, correct fashion. The other side of it, though, is it can be operated by anyone. You know, I could take one of your graduates, and in 3 months they would be running that line. That's how automated it is. Okay, next. We have another area where we're filling a product that's similar to Botox, believe it or not. It's going to be basically a generic form of it. And because the product, believe it or not, is very toxic, a lot of people don't realize, everybody thinks Botox is great. What they don't realize is Botox is about one of the most toxic compounds that are made by man. 1 microgram is enough to kill you, right? So we formulate, we fill this Botox-like product. We also lyophilize it. This piece of equipment you see with the armholes, it's called an isolator. Believe it or not, once the components, the parts and everything for that machine are put in there, they hit a button and the whole inside gets sterilized before they can start filling the product. Again, this system is automated to a level where all of my current staff that operates that machine and does the filling operations are basically high school graduates. They're not college graduates, right? Okay, next. Molecule manufacturing. So basically fermentation and purification activities. This is where you take a bacteria that's been converted or transformed to produce proteins, and you grow it up in a fermenter. And we go through and we pop open the E. coli that's used. We take the inclusion bodies out. We remove the antibodies or fragments and purify them. That's how you go through and purify a monoclonal antibody using yeast, or I'm sorry, bacteria. This area, and you see the picture in the bottom right, we have a 1,000 liter fermenter, and believe it or not, most of the individuals that we have working in that area started out as associate 1 level. They did not all have degrees. Very many of the individuals are high school graduates that have come in and they've learned and developed and have been in this type of role for a long time. And yes, you know, they get experience here. They could get a position at Stone brewing beer or any of the other distilleries or brew houses, right? So it's a good starting point and opportunity for people. Okay, next. This is just you know, a slide showing the different products and such that we produce in that suite. There are about 50 people in that department, believe it or not, and that's what they do all the time. So packaging, storage solutions. Go ahead, next. You know, this is basically the warehousing, the receiving area, driving forklifts, you know, issuing materials to the filling or production areas, doing inspection of, you know, vials that are coming through and packaging them and labeling them and setting them up for shipment, you know, whether it's ambient shipment or cold chain shipment. And again, these are all positions that, you know, do not require any type of college degree, right? And it's a very good entry point. And as I mentioned, you know, we have all these different areas that are available as entry points. Okay, next. This is just so, you know, people realize, you know, we have state-of-the-art facility, electronic systems to help us track all the materials, packaging. We have all kinds of storage units. Get to learn how to drive forklifts when you get to that point, which is kind of fun. So next. And then why? I guess this is the part where HR takes over, right?
Yeah, we can definitely take it from here. Thank you for that, Bert.
You know, I was going to mention, so myself, when I was in high school at about sophomore, junior year, I was not interested in going to college, and was actually learning how to be a mechanic at my uncle's shop, and started working through doing that until I got to about junior year, and I got interested in biology through a teacher. I still remember, it was Mr. Mund. And Mr. Mund was pretty good teacher. He was really into it, and I got excited. And although I kept working in my my uncle's shop while I was in high school, I started looking at what I could do to go to college. At that time, as you can imagine, when you're deciding you're just going to finish high school and go become a mechanic, you're not thinking about all your studies, right? And in my case, I ended up going to a junior college up in the Bay Area because I did not have the grades to get into a four-year university. So I ended up working as a mechanic, and then I worked in restaurants as a cook, bartender, as I eventually got accepted in a four-year university. And after 8 years of doing all this and working on the side, I ended up coming out with a degree in biochemistry. And during that time, you know, many of the positions that you saw here, I've actually learned, worked in, or been involved or responsible for. So, you know, my whole thing is at 18 and 20 years old, give yourself options, get started somewhere that's going to help you in the future, and always look at something that you can grow from, right? Because the opportunities are there, the outcome is up to you. Okay, so that's my spiel. Take it away, Denise.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Bert. Definitely great advice. So we are the talent acquisition team. So we are recruiters that help fill a lot of the different positions that we have throughout our departments. You will see a list. I'm sure a lot of you, if you've ever experienced doing a job search, you see a lot of the qualifications and the different skills that we look for in many of our positions. But one of the things that it's most important to us is definitely our company culture and how a lot of our employees or candidates represent and really reflect that throughout the conversation or throughout the interview process. Some of our cultural values are listed. We're super focused on our customers, innovation, accountability. We work in a highly regulated environment. So being accountable and having experiences or working on projects where you demonstrated accountability is really important to us. Compliance, communication, and also teamwork. I would say that throughout a lot of our positions, teamwork is certainly a theme that is, you know, really important to the success of the role. We have a lot of positions and departments that Bert has kind of given you an overview on. And one of the positions that my colleague Nicole will tell you a little bit more about is within our DP team.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole. To give you a little bit of background on myself, I've been with this company for, gosh, it's been about 4.5 years now, almost 5. And I absolutely love working here. So Denise mentioned our culture. That is something, if you were to apply here, work here, talk to anybody that works here, we will definitely talk about that. It's super important to us. And in each of our positions, as we're going through the interview process, we look at those cultural values to see how they might work into the specific position that we're recruiting for. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about our drug product inspection technician role. Bert mentioned that a big part of what we do here is fill finish, taking that finished drug product and filling it into vials and syringes. When we do that, every single one of those vials has to be inspected to make sure that they're free of defects and okay to be sent out to our clients. And this is the team that does that. It's an amazing entry-level opportunity that provides all of the training right up front. It takes about 6 to 8 weeks just to get through the initial training, so there's a lot to learn. And it actually takes about 2 years to become fully qualified and comfortable with all of the different products that we're looking at. In this role, the things that we look for as far as the skills required, there's no experience needed for it. So what we look for is students or people who have a really strong attention to detail. In this group, they look for very, very small things that could be wrong. They're looking at, the syringes itself and the vials to make sure there's no cracks or anything that could affect the product. They're looking at the solution to make sure it looks how it should. They're looking inside the solution to see if anything got in there, like a tiny piece of fiber or even a piece of glass that could have chipped off during the filling process when that needle comes down to fill it. So it takes a lot of attention to detail and the ability to focus. Another thing we really look at is dependability. In this role, this is our last chance to catch anything that could be wrong with these products, and we need our team here to do that. So if you can demonstrate that you are dependable, that's great. Other competencies that we look at where you would be hugely successful in this position are going to be personal accountability, which is one of our cultural values there, accountability. Teamwork, another one. This position is very individual. You would have your own vials and syringes to look at, but it really does take everybody in that group to get these products inspected and out. Flexibility is big because with the CMO, you could be working on one project in the morning and then a leader can come in and say, hey, we have a hot project we need you to switch to, and you got to be able to flex on that. And then goal orientation. We definitely focus on quality a lot more than quantity, but there's still going to be goals that you want to reach in this position. We have 2 different shifts available for this group, so it's great for people who are still going to school. Maybe you're taking classes in the morning or the evening. It works great for that. We have a first shift that starts at 6:30 in the morning and goes to 3, and we have a second shift that starts 3 and goes to 11:30. This is a Monday through Friday position. It's very structured and standard, but it also has times when they're super, super busy and they ask for overtime as well. So that the workflow really does ebb and flow. I mentioned this is a great starting opportunity. So just within this one group, there's many different paths you can take in your career. And you can do an SME path where that subject matter expert, where you really learn all of the details about the projects that you're working on and you lead those projects. You can continue on there to be a leader for the group and have your own team under you. There's a group that does investigations. So if they do see something that's wrong with those vials and syringes, they try to figure out what it is and they investigate that and do some technical writing with it. And then there's a training group. So I mentioned this has a lot of training, and we have an amazing training program for this and great trainers, and there's opportunities to develop into that. So all of those different paths are available just within this one department in this huge company. From this position, you can really grow into any department in the company. So it's a really good opportunity to get your foot in the door here and learn and just see what it's like to be in a GMP super structured environment.
Can I ask, or can I add, give you an example? I have an individual who about 2 years ago started in the visual inspection area and started going through his training and everything. And in the 2 years, because he showed his ability and capabilities, he actually works in the Lusk facility and he's involved with the Lusk Line 1, the fill line, and he's the logistics person for the group. So this individual, in a short period of time, went from just finishing high school to where he's personally responsible for the logistics and movement of materials and supplies and products worth millions of dollars. So, you know, there is a huge opportunity for individuals that want to apply themselves. Instructors like you guys, right? I could probably get you in the area and do investigations and write-ups easily. You never know.
Yeah, and that's just one example. We have many people who have grown throughout our company from this position. It's actually our talent pool for the rest of the organization. So we're usually hiring for this group as well.
Great.
All right.
And another great position that again is one of our entry-level roles is within our environmental monitoring team, which my colleague Alicia will tell you a little bit more about.
All right, so sorry I was on mute, my camera was off.
No problem.
Hi guys, how are you today? I'm really excited to be here with you. My name is Alicia Levin. I am one of the talent acquisition recruiters here. I have been with Aji for coming up on 2 years this April. I absolutely love it here. The culture is phenomenal. A little background about my experience. So I have been in recruiting for actually 9 years as of this month. I'm recruiting in a variety of industries from healthcare, lending, marketing, and now biotech. Obviously, biotech is there's a lot of opportunities in biotech within San Diego, and frankly, biotech was kind of the industry I eventually wanted to land in. It's really exciting to be here and kind of, learn the insides and out and insides and out of biotech and kind of what we do here. And, it was interesting to kind of get the background when you don't have that life sciences degree or background and more specialized in the HR recruiting realm. So anyways, the role I wanted to talk to you about today is our environmental monitoring team. So our environmental monitoring department is critical because it ensures that the environment or room where we're manufacturing our drugs or working with various compounds, materials in a lab are quote unquote clean. So it's not a typical cleaning job as you would expect with like a broom or a mop. It's lab cleaning. So it's collecting samples, evaluating those samples for maybe microbial growth, collecting utility samples, ensuring that aseptic practices are being followed in the clean room. So I know Bert mentioned about that that certification, that 4 to 5 months certification program that they do to make sure that training, to make sure that they are aseptic cleaning gown certified. The environmental monitoring team does go through that. So it is a really critical job, to making sure that, where we're manufacturing the drugs that'll eventually get to patients, is a consistently clean environment. So, you kind of hear a lot of us talking about, clean, quality control, and realistically, every part of our job, that every part of the environmental monitoring job is basically about keeping that environment clean. And also keeping lab spaces in audit-ready state. So because we are an FDA-regulated facility, we always want to make sure that we are ready at any time. If the FDA were to come knocking on our door one day, we want to make sure that our manufacturing suites and our labs are ready to go continuously. We always want to be operating as if, the FDA is on site watching us. So as far as kind of what we look for in a candidate and kind of the qualities that really make up a strong environmental monitoring technician is observant. So able to identify if aseptic behavioral is being followed or being consistently observant of the environment and being able to, check on that quality control. Attention to detail. So aseptic gowning, is a strict procedure. And it's really important that you're constantly paying attention when you're doing the testing and making sure, again, that people are abiding by the aseptic gowning. Perseverance. Environmental monitoring can sometimes be a little bit of redundant work and physically taxing because you are standing in clean rooms and, the manufacturing process can take, many hours and, you could be standing for the majority of your shift. So it definitely, and it can be redundant as far as collecting the samples and just, constantly testing the room. But again, it is really critical to the overall manufacturing process. So, if you don't mind that repetitive work and you enjoy that and just, constantly being, focused on quality, then this is a good opportunity for you. Also a desire to learn. As I tell all candidates when I'm interviewing them for environmental monitoring, this is a really great stepping stone into biotech. It's a great first step. And, there's many opportunities within the EM and microbiology group for cross-training opportunities for individuals that might want to expand on their knowledge and experience in biotech. So someone, as my hiring manager put it, actually, they always like to see someone with a thirst for knowledge and someone that's really eager to learn and grow within the organization. Teamwork is also really important. So, the EM team is constantly required to support each other, adjust to schedules because the manufacturing schedule can vary at any given time. And also, so we need someone that can be flexible to that environment and work together as a team and cover the need, cover as needed. Accountability is the last one I would say really what we look for. So, they again must adhere to the scheduled tasks to meet minimum requirements to avoid any deviations or investigations. So being constantly accountable for your work. Again, this role is a great opportunity, and we don't require a degree for it. So it's a great option if you're unsure what you want to do after high school, but you might be interested in biotech. This is a really great opportunity for you to kind of, jump in and get your experience started in the biotech field. Great. Thanks, guys.
And so some of the departments that I recruit for is within our drug product manufacturing team. And so again, my name is Denise. I actually have been with Ajinomoto for about 1.5 years now. And this is my first recruiting experience in biotech. So definitely a lot of learning, and has been a really exciting time for us with just the different growth and all the different departments that I've had the opportunity to recruit for. Some of the departments that I currently support are within our manufacturing, drug substance, and also our aseptic cleaning technicians. A couple of things before I tell you a little bit about these positions. I think we all kind of do our interview panels a little bit different, but what you can expect when you submit an application is to be contacted by one of us. So either Nicole, Alicia, or myself will be in touch. We will set up a phone interview where we will talk about some of your experience, but really get a feel for who you are and how you'll be a cultural add, in addition to just some of the things that you're looking for as far as your long-term career plans. If that means you want to get, your foot in the door and get some experience, hands-on experience, maybe you want to pursue college and you are unsure of the degree path. This is a really great opportunity to kind of learn about this industry and kind of see where you would be a great fit. After that, if the phone interview goes well, we will set you up on a panel interview. And so right now we're doing all virtual interviews, but you will be meeting with peer group members or a couple of the leaders. You can expect to meet with about 4 folks who are going to be sharing with you a little bit more about what they're looking for. And they're going to also ask you questions about why this position piqued your interest. And so a lot of those things I think you can definitely prepare for in talking about maybe some experience you've had if you are working or if you're volunteering somewhere, if you're a part of a club, if you play any sports. All those things would be great to bring up during the interview process. After the panel interview, we can expect to do a reference check, and then the recruiters will be in touch and just kind of keep you in the loop until the team makes a final decision. So with our drug product manufacturing team, one of the roles that we hire for, which requires a minimum of a high school diploma, you need to be a minimum of 18 years of age and also be able to complete some pre-employment, which for us is typically a background check and also a drug test. In this position, you are doing a lot of the filling for the vials, so a lot of the medication that'll go into the vials. You're also preparing a lot of the materials for a lot of the filling that takes place. So in this position, you're managing equipment. You're definitely doing gowning, and so a lot of that training will be a part of maybe the first 90 days of your employment. But truly, it takes up to 8 months to have somebody gown certified and to be able to work independently in their role. Another position that we have is our aseptic cleaning tech position. And in this role, you are helping with the sterilization of our facilities. So whether that's in a lot of our manufacturing suites and a lot of the clean rooms and a lot of the office areas, this is the team that comes in when production has stopped. Our aseptic cleaning tech positions are part-time. They typically work a 3rd shift. So for us, that's after 9 p.m. So you're working overnight and you're doing a lot of the sterilization and disinfecting many areas. A lot of the skills that we look for is somebody who's a team player, somebody who has strong attention to detail, highly organized, and has good communication skills. In this position, you will be expected to do a lot of documentation and a lot of maybe checking off different tasks that you're working on. So being able to communicate a lot of that information or being able to capture a lot of that data is really important. Somebody who's successful in this position is quick to change. This is a role where oftentimes you can experience different interruptions or a change of priorities, and being able to adapt to that is really important. Somebody who's willing to learn. I can tell you that with a lot of the hiring managers that I support, everybody wants to see a candidate who is eager and excited for this opportunity. And again, somebody who can work collaboratively and cooperate with other teams. A lot of the company perks that we have some fun ones. One of the things that we have is PTO, which is paid time off. This is the time that you accrue throughout your time with Aji. Our full-time employees will get 15 paid days off in addition to holidays. And then we also have our holiday shutdown period. This is a period typically after December the 24th and before New Year's. And so this is where production stops and we all go on holiday vacation. And so that is paid time off for you. We also have Food Truck Fridays. We have monthly employee appreciation events, and we have a pretty casual dress code, which I think a lot of our employees enjoy. And so you'll see some images of just a lot of the different things that we've done, whether it be a donut delivery, a popcorn delivery, ice cream to our different sites. We also, we take Halloween pretty seriously at our site. And of course, in 2020, we had a virtual celebration. And so you'll see that. Aji does a lot as well as far as volunteer events and contributions to different organizations throughout San Diego. And so our team, we do a monthly fundraiser or donation drive for different causes.
Denise, I saw that Bert had his hand raised. Do you think we could go back to the previous slide? I think he may have.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. I was just going to mention on the aseptic cleaning technicians, just so you're aware, those individuals all go through the gowning training, just like the filling operators, because they work within those fill spaces. And also, quite a number of my employees that are in the cleaning crew find that it works for them because they may be going to school during the day. So it allows them to take their classes. And since it's a 9 o'clock until, 2 or 3 or whatever it is, a clock shift, it gives them time to, take care of their work and school business. And I also have individuals who have, let's say, family responsibilities due to daycare and everything, where they find for their family that it works because then their spouse or can be working a different shift and they be able to have someone take care of their kids for them, one or the other. So there are different reasons, why individuals look at these positions. Just because it's a cleaning technician is not a bad thing. People think, oh my gosh, I don't want to be a cleaning technician. Believe it or not, that's like the most important position I have in an organization. Because if these folks don't do their work correctly, we don't fill product. We don't fill product, we don't generate revenue. So they are very critical to what we do. Okay, sorry, Denise.
Thanks, Bert. Great. And so quick overview of our benefits. And Alex, I think we are running close to time, and we definitely wanted to have an opportunity to answer some questions.
Okay, so we're reading some of the questions now, real quick. First off, if we run out of time, what is the best way to, all your contact information is on there. So to the scholars that are watching this, please jot down any of that information if you have any questions that don't get answered here. The first question is, what does a typical workday look like? So we talked a lot about responsibilities and the time frame, but what is, or I guess the nitty gritty of it is what the scholar is looking for.
Yeah, I think it definitely varies with each position. I'll say that for somebody within our drug product manufacturing team and also our aseptic cleaning team. So when you're first starting off in your role, you're definitely going through a lot of training. However, this is definitely an environment where you are operating equipment, you're working in a manufacturing suite. And so when you see the images of the folks that are fully gowned up, that'll be a similar type of environment that you'd be working in, definitely juggling different activities day to day. And I would say it's a pretty, pretty fast-paced environment as well. Nicole, did you have anything to add to that? Or I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, think of it this way. It ends up being very self-directed teams. So for instance, at the Lusk facility, all the operations team meet first thing in the morning, and they go through and work through what they have planned out. If there are any issues that have come up, they work through resolution of the issues and work together in getting set up for the day's schedule. And in this case here, they tend to look at the whole week. So on a Monday, they're looking at the next 5 days, what they need to do. So each of the teams work as a team. So it's very important that, the individuals want to work in a team environment. It's not a clique, right? You're working as a group and everybody depends on each other. And frankly, that's the other side of it that everybody always talks about, how great and all that. It is a business. Individuals that come in and they can't or don't want to work on it as a team member, they end up having a short time, right? Because frankly, it's not fair to the other individuals that they work with for them to shoulder what they're supposed to be doing. But I would say there's a lot of training, there's a lot of paperwork, there is a lot of responsibility. And we depend on our teams to work through all these issues.
Great. Sorry. Thanks for that, Bert.
Thank you so much to our wonderful guests. I know that our scholars learned a lot, so thank you again. Appreciate it.
Great.